For me, like, I think coming from the Oceania, you've got to be prepared to be a traveller and do a lot of travel by yourself. Obviously now it's a little bit more relaxed for me, like having Hannah, my partner. We travel mostly together now, which is a little bit less solo, which is nice, keeps you company. But I feel like for me, like I normally spend the New Zealand summer, which is maybe at the end of the World Series season. Come over in kind of end of November, and then spend until usually May until Yokohama or the first race of the season starts for us at Abu Dhabi in March. So you get a good 3-4 months in New Zealand, and it's a nice opportunity to relax.
On the road, I've been away for far too long, but now I'm on my way.
Back in like 6 years ago or something, I don't think we both really thought that we would be traveling so much in our lives. Obviously, like I picked a boyfriend on the other side of the world, so that didn't make things easier. But I think we find a good rhythm in it now that I just come over in the New Zealand summers and spend the summer here together with him. And then he obviously needs to go to Europe. But I think the first couple of years when we were just started dating, we were trying to figure out a bit where we wanted to spend those European summers. So he did spend a few months in Belgium. This year we actually found like a really nice base in Andorra. Kind of felt like we kind of built our own home. So yeah, that's pretty nice now to find a place where we can settle a little bit.
It was kind of like a really weird thing because he said it before that triathlon was never really in our family or anything like that. And he just kind of stumbled across it. He just decided one day that this is something that he was going to pursue. I remember actually when he went to Abu Dhabi and he was leading out the run for the first half of the race, and we were just losing our minds at home. We're like, oh my God, he's actually in the top 10. He was winning the whole way, and then you had guys like Mario Mola, Vincent Luis chasing him down, and we're just like, what is he even doing there? And that was kind of like the first, I guess, race that I think we as a family were like, wow.
That's Hayden Wilde of New Zealand.
Hayden Wilde's in pretty good form. He could be a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, it's been an amazing rise, and it's been a very quick rise. I don't think many people have come through triathlon so quickly, especially like he's only just started. Like everyone's been doing it for their whole lives, and he's just kind of picked it up and given it a go, and it's worked out good for him. And I think that's his attitude when it comes to it as well. It's a real big just, yeah, I'm just going to give it a go, and we'll see how it ends up going.
You saying hi? You saying hi, Al? Come on then, Al. Hello?
As a kid, I think I was just very active. I just don't think we ever sat still. I was primarily a swimmer, yeah, so I've swimming since I was about 5. I guess it's just, we just got into swimming because my mum was a swimmer. You just want your kids to be able to swim, so I was a swimmer from, 5. I spent a lot of my early days under the water and not listening. And then I started running when I was maybe like 13, 14 in high school, and doing like the cross-country sort of stuff. And I was good at that because I was a swimmer, so like I was just sort of a diesel engine. I could just go all day at one pace. And then I actually started triathlon. I did my first one at 16, I want to say. I know you go from like junior to under 23, but technically you just go junior to senior, because apart from the championship races, you're racing as a senior in European Cups, World Cups, whatever. So it's quite a big jump. And for me, I just didn't manage that very well, and I got sucked into all of the senior girls training in Leeds, and obviously they'd be doing it for years, they were older than me, they could manage it, and I just thought, well, now I need to train like a senior, obviously. And I got it quite wrong and got my nutrition very wrong and didn't fuel well enough. I lost like a lot of weight. I must have lost like 8 kilos. And so I got very, very lean, and I knew in myself that I wasn't right. So I kind of asked for some help, and we did change my diet plan, and I was eating more, but it was the damage was already done. Like, it had been too long, and I lost my period for like 8 months. So as soon as I lost my period, like, as a girl, you know that that's not right. And when it comes to like the female athlete triad, once your period goes, then everything else kind of falls apart. That was a really tough period, and I just got it very wrong. Like, my bones were really, really bad at the time, and I had to obviously put weight on, and yeah, but I learned a lot through that period as well. And since then I've spent time with my family. I know what's important in life and what really matters, and triathlon is almost a bonus, and like, I'm good at it, I enjoy it, it makes me happy, and I'll do it for as long as I can, but it's not the be all and end all. So it kind of, yeah, it changed my approach into races.
The three girls have always had a real fire for sport and wanting to do well and competitive. But yeah, I've seen it with Georgia through cross-country races. And then I think the World Juniors, when I seen that real fire coming out when she was, she got the silver medal, she couldn't get a shoe on, just wouldn't go on, and she was really struggling. And I remember being stood there, and hairs on your neck come up, and you see her in second place, and amazing. And I think that really was the start of things for her. So as a big race is looming, weeks and weeks before, things start to change. You see that the training, what she's doing precisely in a day, it becomes really important. So, you can't just make it up. It's done very precisely. You get up in the morning, you have your coffee, you have your cereal, you go training, you come home, you shower, you sleep, you wait, you eat, you go training again. And it becomes very, very set and structured. I think as well, you see it in a person. And Georgia has that when she's getting ready for the big competitions. So hopefully we'll see it on the lead up to Paris.
I think what relaxes me is certainly being out in nature. I think that's what we do every day. We're out and about, and so lucky to be out and have our office, in the ocean or in the hills. So I think that certainly relaxes me. And in the off season, I get out and surf a little bit and do different things, and whether it be golf or kicking the footy with the boys or something like that, that certainly relaxes me.
No, this is a mix-up. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
I think I've been racing and my competitive nature, since I was, 8, 10, racing cross country and athletics, going over as a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 19-year-old in 2017 as a junior, and experiencing my first taste of Europe and training up with the high performance squad in the north of Spain was such a cool experience. And probably my first experience in Europe was pretty cool.
Stride, jog off,
just
around,
do bends and straights.
and maybe.
I reckon the first time I heard about Matt was his junior coach, Brian Harrington from Hervey Bay. And Brian had this knack of finding these amazing athletes. And I think we're coming up to 8 years now, full-time working together, which is, for me, really special because I've seen him grow from a young boy into the man he is today. And we have very, very similar tastes with sport to music to, he's an old soul. He loves his 70s music, he loves his LPs, and we find ourselves morphing into conversations about that. So there's so many equal values there what we have that I think we can then, when it comes to the serious stuff, because we've got each other's back, I think we can sit down and have those conversations, and always revert back to who we are and me respect him and trust him, and equally he does the same with me. And I think that's how we've continued this journey as long as we have.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All good.
So I don't know, I don't want to like dig myself in a hole with stereotypes, but I'm not your average 26-year-old. I've kind of just been told that I'm like a 40-year-old trapped to my body. I'm slowly getting towards 40, but maybe I've been told recently I kind of have a lifestyle that people have told me is more like a 70 or 80-year-old. So I've just kind of been maybe 30 to 40 years above my age. Like it's going to be dangerous when I'm 60. Well, I think I'm still learning that people want to have an opinion on what I do or don't do and decisions, but I'm trying to learn to block that out. But like part of me wants like people to just like forget about me entirely, but also I know that pressure is a privilege, so like the interest and like there can be some positives from it, but I think realizing how my team gets smaller and smaller every year of who I can trust and who I look to for advice and whose opinion I value, and then you just learn to block out the noise as much as possible. Well, so Boulder, I love it as a place to live and train. Even just last week, Flora was back in Boulder, and so Flora and Gwen were in a swim session with me. So I do see other people, but like it seems like they're kind of waves, and you're either on someone's pattern or not, and so you might run into someone for a few months, and then if you just change your routine a little, you will not see them at all, because triathletes are creatures of habit. So if someone changes their routine, you will all of a sudden become off sync, which is kind of nice. But it's also it's a small town, but it's also big, and there's a lot of space for everyone. But it's just a gorgeous place, I think, to live. Like I do love having a home and being able to go home and be grounded, and just that's where I am at this part of my life. And I think you look at Flora and Gwen, and not to say they're older, but they are two of the older women on the start list now, and so that's maybe in line with their model of having a home and not being in camps the whole year. So Boulder's a great place to do that, I think.
As a kid, I would say I was, very stubborn. I'm still very stubborn, but I was very stubborn, very in my ways of we have to do this. And I have a older sister, Elizabeth. She's 3 years older than me, and I think a lot of times our entire family's life would revolve around my swimming. So for instance, a family vacation would be, we're driving to Minnesota for Gwen's swim meet. And, my sister would just hop in the car and come along. And I don't think when I was young, I really appreciated everything that my family was doing for me. I think my personality has changed a ton since having my 2 children. I think my husband, Patrick, would agree on that. I think I used to be a lot more not willing for things to change. As an athlete, I think we all, you need to be selfish in a little ways, and that's why I think as well I love that I have my 2 children, because when you have children you have to be selfless, and so it's been really fun for me to be able to stand up for what I need to perform as an athlete, and also be able to take care of others while doing that.
Who's your best friend, and how would they
You're my best friend. Oh, well, why don't you come over here and describe me?
So I'm your best friend, and I would describe you as somebody that's very dedicated to anything that you put your mind to. So in this case, it's your craft of triathlon. You're also a very dedicated parent, and I think that you inspire others to match your level of investment and greatness. Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
It's always nice to come back home and feel more relaxed. I feel like I can recharge my batteries, and I think it's good to come at least once during the season. I'll come back here after Calgary, and then I will eat my mom's food for like 3 or 4 days, and then I'll go back to this training camp live like 60 or 65 days before Paris. We have this word in Portuguese, saudades, that it means I missing home and missing the people around you. And to be fully happy, you need to feel all the parts of your life. And I'm lucky that my job is also my hobby, but I think I need my loved ones around me to feel full. That's why I'm taking my parents on training camps now. That before Paris, I think it's important to have them with me, because I think a happy athlete is a fast athlete. Everyone says this.
Triathlon, acho que ele tinha aqui, dá licença, deixa eu olhar. Agosto de 2007, ele tinha 7 anos. Ativo, né? Sempre tomou choque, ele acordava de manhã, acho que ele colocava o dedo na tomada. Mas bonzinho, educado, bonzinho.
Sempre muito competitivo.
Sempre muito competitivo. Eu fui para o evento teste, mas eu fiquei poucos dias, né? Quem ficou muito foi ele. Ficar bastante tempo vai ser uma exceção para mim, vamos ficar nós dois fora, né? Da Olimpíada, vamos ficar os dois fora. Aí vai ter que ser um esquema. Com trabalho, com casa, cachorro. Mas a gente se vira, né? Claro.
Yeah, I remember driving for a couple of hours down to somewhere and going to try this bike out. I don't think, you know, for the size, it was a 45 centimeter frame at the time. I don't think it was too easy to find somewhere. So I think my dad found one on eBay, and yeah, I was lucky enough to go and try it out and ride it up and down the road a few times. And I think, yeah, this is good. And my parents bought it for me, and I guess, yeah, here we are.
It was after the relay medal at Tokyo. The artist Stanhope painted a medal in on the O overnight, and so we woke up to this thing. So it was just like a guerrilla piece of painting, and yeah, what an honour! And it was taken to everybody's heart. I first knew that he was good at running when about the age of 9 or so, he beat me on a 5K, you know, and I thought I was fast. Well, I grew up, I was born in Forest Hill, so literally a couple of miles from where we're living now, and grew up here as well. So yes, I'm a product of South East London, just like Alex is a product of South East London. Alex got his big chance that he was selected for the World Cup in Cagliari, and yeah, he was so excited. And then we weren't able to go with him, and then we get this phone call from the London Triathlon coach, and he said that we may want to contact the people in Italy because it sounds like Alex had an accident. It was a real shock. I think it was a real shock to British Triathlon too. You know, it was the first time that a junior had an accident whilst on international duty. And it still brings a lump to my throat. But yeah, that was a real moment and we thought it was
it was going to be all over.
For me, it was definitely a defining moment within my career, and I always tell the story of at the time I was doing my A-levels, and that was absolutely everything to me and so super important. Nothing else mattered, and then I ended up not doing my A-levels because of this crash and having to stay in hospital, and the purpose that you have within your life is so important. I think for me that gave me that clarity that I wanted to give triathlon a good go, and there has been something special about going back to Cagliari and being able to win there at the highest level of our competition on 2 occasions. I think both times I think I have found something extra because of that struggle that I did have, and I think people who are coming back from stuff, there is just something extra which you find within yourself.
Alex Yee! And now the champagne celebration.